Hey there, welcome to LSEA Yoga. My name is Laura, and today's practice is a bit of a Yin Yoga Fusion. So that means we're going to be doing some longer held static poses as we do in Yin Yoga, getting some nice stretch and really open, especially in the hips. But we're also going to move around a little, so it's still a flow practice. We're just going to take it nice and slow and really get into it. So if you're ready, get on your mat and I'll meet you there. We'll begin today in Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees are out to the side, and let it be a wide-legged Baddha Konasana. So the heels of the feet are a good foot or so away from the hips. Long-legged butterfly. Place the hands behind you, fingertips tented, and get long in the spine. So sit up tall and start to lean forward. And what we're looking for is a tilt in the pelvis forward. So maybe scoot the hips back a little to help them do that. And if you're feeling a nice stretch here, hang out with the hands behind you until you find a new edge, right? If your body starts to let you in and you're not feeling much anymore, maybe the hands come forward, but keep that spine long and straight behind you. That way you're really getting into the hips. We don't want to pull the back by rounding, right? So keep it straight. And we're just going to ground into practice here in Baddha Konasana. So start to let gravity do its job. Start to deepen the breath. Maybe even take a few sighing breaths. So take a deep breath in through the nose and let it out through an open mouth. Bring the attention to the hips and notice how they open with your exhales. With each breath, gravity does its thing and just lets you a little further in. No forcing. And find your own pace for your breath. The upper spine can round. If you get pretty far forward, that's okay. But keep moving those hips back away from the feet so that continue to tilt forward. The sensation in the hips should continue to get a little stronger, but if it gets to be too much, a little pinching or burning, back up out of it. We don't want it to be too intense. It should be challenging, but not painful at all. And with the eyes closed, keep focusing in on the sensations that you're feeling. And adjust accordingly. And when you're ready, start to walk the hands back up if they came forward so that you're sitting up. Release the legs out in front of you just for a second. I'm going to shake out the feet. And then bring your left foot in next to your right hip. So tuck that leg under. Right leg up and over so your foot is on the outside of your left knee. And we're coming into seated spinal twist here. So you want the weight on the hips equally. And then lift the hips up and scoot them over to the left. Now here we're looking for an outer hip stretch. So again, tent the fingertips behind you and get tall with the right hand. And then wrap your left arm around that knee. And you're pressing that knee over to the left, right? So it's going up and over. Get tall. And then as you exhale from the belly button, you twist. Maybe turning the head to look back. And we're not looking to tweak the shoulder, so that's why we're twisting from the belly button, right? What you're really looking for is a stretch here. So focus in on that area. And you're pulling the knee away from the hip. And the twist just gets you deeper into that. Maybe finding a different hand position with the elbow on the outside of the knee if that feels good. Intensifies the stretch. Hand can be up or down. With each breath, you get tall. And then as you exhale, twist a little deeper. One more breath here. And then come on back to center. Maybe a little counter twist in the other direction. Now bring your right foot more out in front of you, and we're going to come into heron pose. So the left leg can kind of stay where it is. And grab a hold of the foot or the back of the knee, and we're going to lift up and stretch the back of the leg. All right, so grab onto the part of the leg or the foot that's accessible. Get long in the spine. Always, always long in the spine. And the leg can be bent. No problem there. And just breathe into the back of the leg. Deep, deep breaths, letting the tissues just open up with each breath. Leg can work towards straightening, but it doesn't have to be straight, as long as you're getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg. One more breath here. Now let the leg bend a little more, and we're going to add a little stretch. A little twist. So if where you were, that was plenty, and you don't want to attempt the twist, then just stay right there and do that again. Otherwise, grab the outside of the foot and start to straighten. Hands behind, the right hand behind you, and again, we're going to add a little twist to really get a stretch in the outside of the leg. Right hand can come up and turn and look back at your right thumb. Breathing into the outer leg. Leg can be bent, no worries. Breathe and open. And come on back to center. Now this time we're going to place the right leg over top again, but we're coming into Gomukhasana. So that means we're going to work towards stacking the knees one on top of the other. If they don't stack, no problem at all. If the knees aren't feeling good, you may want to straighten your left one out so the foot's sticking out, right? Or if it's okay bent, but the top one doesn't really feel good trying to stack it, maybe it stays up here, because again, this is the area that we're working the outer right hip. Flex the feet, and as you work towards stacking the knees, get tall, maybe press the hands down on the feet, and start to lean forward. Stretching the hips. And you're pulling the hips back. feet are flexed, those pinky toes and the sides of the feet are pressing into the earth so that you can move the hips back away from that. And that's where that awesome stretch is. And come forward just to your own degree where it feels good. Now, if that's not much, you may want to add a twist to that as well. So you can place the elbow on the outside of the knee, get long, and just pull over toward the right. Breathe and get open. Last breath here. Deep breath in through the nose. Let it out through an open mouth. And come on back up. Let's take all that to the other side. So let's place the right leg down this time. Left foot over. And same thing, tent the fingertips behind, get tall. Wrap the right arm around that knee, pull it up and over to the right. And each time you breathe in, get long and tall. And exhale, twisting from the belly button. When I first started doing yoga, I used to always tweak my shoulders in this because it was pulling so hard to twist because I wanted to look back, and that's not what we're after here. It doesn't matter what it looks like, right? It matters what it feels like. So no wrenching of the shoulders, twisting from the belly button to get that outer hip stretch. Finding your hand position. One more breath here. Come on back to center and counter twist. Other direction. I'll leave that right leg where it is and let's come into heron pose. So again, grabbing the part of the leg or the foot that's accessible, starting with a bent knee, get tall, stretch the back of that leg. Now, one side can be different from the other, and that's true for all of these poses, so you've got to adjust based on how it feels. Now, in a lot of practices, we'll stretch the tissues after warming them up by, moving more vigorously. But there's more than one way to warm up, to warm the tissues. And one of the ways to do it is to breathe into those muscles. As you do that, you sort of imagine them opening, and they will. And that gets the tissues warm and open, just as if you had been moving around a lot. Now we can add that twist. If you're good there, stay right there. But if you want to come with me and add the twist, grab the outside of the foot and kick it out and tent the fingertips behind you. Get tall and twist toward the left. Maybe the left hand comes up. Knee can be bent here. And come on back to center, and I'll cross that leg over again, and we'll come into Gomukhasa on this side. Feet are flexed, lift the hips up and scoot them over to the right. Just gives you a little more stretch in the outer left hip. Work towards stacking. Right leg can be straight. Maybe you're supporting the knee, if that feels good. Maybe you're stacking the knees. Get tall, hands to feet, and start to come forward. Pressing the feet down, hips are moving back. Then walk the hands forward. Maybe adding a twist. Breathe and open. And come on back up. Bring the legs together and we're going to come through into hands and knees. We're going to mobilize the spine a little bit with some cat-cow. So inhale, look up and tailbone up. And exhale, round the spine. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round. This time when you look up, stay there, breathing into the front body, really opening the muscles in the chest, the abs. And then on your next exhale, round. And come on up to a downward dog. And walk the heels one at a time, pedal the feet. Breathe into your downward dog, hips high to the sky. Now inhale, lift your right leg up. Up, up, up as high as it'll go. And then bend the knee and stack the hip so the foot comes over to the left. Square the shoulders to the ground so your right doesn't come up. Stretch into that left leg. Open the hips. Deep breath in. On your next exhale, step the right foot forward into a lunge and lower the back knee down. Scoot your right foot out to the right. We're coming into lizard. So let the hips get heavy. Arms can be straight here, or maybe you lower down to elbows. That feels good. Let the hips get heavy. And the knee can go away from the shoulder, or maybe you're drawing it in. It depends on your hips. Now, if you need a little more fire in this pose, feel free to lift up the back knee. And that'll add in some of the front of the left quad into this stretch. The spine is long, crown of the head, working away from back foot, especially if you are with your knee lifted. Now, wherever you are, lower the knee down if you lifted it up. And walk the hands back up if you went down onto elbows. Sweep your right arm back behind you and bend the back knee. And grab a hold of that foot or the ankle. Kick the foot away from you, so you add a little bit of a back arch. Hips still working down. Breathe into that. This pose covers a lot of real estate. You can even come onto the outside of the right foot to add a little more hip stretch into that. Deep breath in here. On your next exhale, swim that hand forward, shift the hips back, walk your foot in a little toward the center. With a bent knee, we're coming into half split. So start with the bent knee, get long, inhale, and exhaling, fold. And draw the hips back toward the back of the mat. You can add a little flow to that if you want. With your inhales, get long. And exhaling, bow. Doing that a couple more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Coming forward, plant the hands and step it back to a downward dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up high. Stretch it as high as it'll go. Lifting, lifting. And then bend the knee and stack the hip, squaring the shoulders to the floor. Deep breath in, and your next exhale, step the left foot forward into a lunge and walk it out to the left. Lower the back knee down. Now arms straight, let the hips get heavy. Maybe lowering down onto elbows. Feel your way through it. We live in a visual world, so it's super easy to see photos on Instagram or any social media and think that's what I need to do if I'm going to do yoga, but that's not true. Yoga is a feeling. My teacher Ian Finn says yoga is a feeling, not a shape. And that's what we're looking for. You can lift that back knee up if you want a little fire in this pose. And you can always move around in your poses to find what feels good, rocking back and forth. Now, wherever you are, knee down, hands to the earth, straight arms. Sweep your left hand behind and bend the right leg. Grab a hold of the foot or the ankle and start to pull back, adding the back arch. You can come onto the edge of the left foot and let that knee wing out to the left if that feels better. Breathe into the hips. Now come on forward, walk the hands back up and scoot the hips back so you can walk the left foot over to the right into the center. Inhale, start with a bent knee. And exhale, pull the hips back as you bow forward. You can add that flow. Inhale, long spine. Exhaling, bow. 2 more times, inhaling, exhaling. Deep breath in, let it all out. Come on forward, plant the hands and step it back to a downward dog. Now come on through into a seated position. And we're going to we're almost to the end, but we're going to close it out kind of the way that we started. So left leg under, right leg over, but we're not twisting this time. We're going to come straight into heron pose. So we're a little more open this time. So find your hand position. Get tall. And start to work towards straightening that front leg. Just get a nice stretch. Using the biceps to pull the foot or the leg toward you. Now this time we're going to add compass pose. So it's similar to what we were just doing in a wide leg forward fold as we were twisting. So if this is enough, stay right here. If you want to try compass, keep the bottom leg where it is. Grab a hold of the outer right foot with your left hand. Take your right hand underneath your calf and snuggle the knee on top of the shoulder. Okay. Now switch your hand position to wrap around the outside of the foot, on the top of the foot. Place your left or your right hand down. Start to straighten the leg, and as you do, twist toward the left. Well, this can be pretty intense, so if it doesn't feel good, back right up out of it. Today's practice was designed to open us up so we could get here. So over time, you'll get there. One more breath here. And then release. Let's take that to the other side. So right leg under, left over, and we're going to take heron pose first. Grabbing the back of the knee or the calf, maybe the foot, get tall. And start to work the leg toward the nose. And release. And let's take compass. Now you can stay right there in heron if that's enough. Otherwise, grab the bottom and the left side of the left foot. Right hand to the calf. Snuggle your left shoulder under your left knee. Wrap your right hand around the outside of the foot. Left hand down and start to straighten. Twist toward the right as you do so. Looking under the right arm. And each side can be different, right? One can be tighter than the other. So again, don't worry about how it looks. Feel your way through. Breathing into the side waist. Lengthen and open. Last breath here. And release. Now let's take one final set of stretches and then we'll rest in Shavasana. So Upavishta Konasana, wide leg forward fold. Legs out to the side, knees can be bent. And as we do in every forward fold, we want to tilt the pelvis forward. So move the hips back so that the hips can, or the pelvis can tilt. Start with your hands behind you and start to lean forward. If your body lets you in, maybe the hands come forward. If the elbows come to the floor, give me some Sphinx arms and pull the chest through. And that'll keep the spine long and also help you roll onto the front of the pelvis. Deep breaths. And walk the hands back up. Now we'll take it over to the right. So bend the right knee, elbow to the inside of the knee. The hand can rest on the ground or maybe grab a toe. And sweep the left hand up and open up. Use the right elbow as a lever to open you up toward the sky. And then your left arm comes over. Deep breath in the sideways. Each breath, as you exhale, twist up toward the sky. And come on up. Last pose, last side. Elbow to the inside of the knee, hand to the floor or the foot. Sweep the right arm up, open up, twist toward the sky, and sweep the arm overhead. Last breath here. Inhaling, come on up. Bring the legs together. Let the legs open about the width of the mat. Roll down onto your back. Feet flop open. Hands flop open. Palms up. Shavasana, corpse pose. Close the eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let it out through an open mouth. Let something go. Every muscle that's touching the floor, let it sink down and release. Now stay here as long as you like. And when you're ready, start to place the palms of the feet on the floor, knees up to the sky. Bring the hands to the upper thighs. Draw the knees into the chest. Wrap the arms around the knees. Give them a squeeze. And then come on up to sit. Find a comfortable cross-legged position. Simple cross-legged, half lotus. Backs of the knees, backs of the hands to the knees. Thumb and forefinger touch. Close the eyes. And just notice how different you feel now compared to the start of practice. Open to receive. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste and aloha.